Last week, the U11 boys worked on limited touch possession. Here are some examples where limited touches are taken at the professional level and goals are scored. Most recently, at the weekend, Chelsea just did this against Brighton, and here's Willian scoring. The important thing to notice here is the 1-2 touch soccer and the off-the-ball movements from the players. Here is the practice session for the U11 Boys Black. We begun the practice with a rondo, so we started with 3 touch, moved down to 2 touch and finished with 1 touch. So already from the very start of the session, I encouraged the boys to move the ball quickly, taking limited touches. Moving on to their technical warm-up, there was 4 target players around the outside, and then 4 players in the centre with shadow players. The aim of this was for the central players to have the ball, pass it to the target player, and then receive it back, playing away from their shadow player. The shadow player's job was to add pressure to the player in possession. Here you can see an example of the player in possession playing out to the target and trying to lose his marker to receive the ball back. Here, players were encouraged to use hand signals to show where they wanted the ball to be played. They were also encouraged to scan and feel to see where their shadow player was. In the next phase of the practice, we moved on to some 3v2s. I was trying to encourage the central player to hold a deeper position to create a good angle of support. If they did this, receive the ball back, you can see here that Dylan plays through the gap and actually switches the player to the opposing side for his winger to score. Finally, we just finished with a scrimmage, just some 4v4s. So here they actually were under a touch restriction where it was 3-4 touch max. So the boys were encouraged to move the ball quickly. In the scrimmage there was actually a breakdown in play, so here you can see me demonstrating by checking in to receive the ball and play out to my left winger. Players are encouraged to scan to see where their players are, see where the space is. So here you can see that Ryan's now checking in. I've told him to check his right shoulder so you can see that his left winger is open. And when we actually come to play, and he flicks the ball out nicely to his left winger, who actually dribbles forward into the space to score. Finally, here is some game footage from the weekend's game at Libertyville to see if the boys could put in to the game what they worked on in practice. So here you can see Evan wins the ball, there's a little flick on and Xavier's through on goal to score. Second, the ball's played down the line. We take a quick touch inside and get that switch straight away. Evan doesn't see the pass centrally at first, but gets the ball wide and crosses to create a chance. The next phase is probably our best spell in possession. Evan flicks the ball round the corner. Xavier sees Dylan. Dylan slips the little through ball to Xavier, who scores. Finally, same again. Xavier, you see, making a late run into the centre. Defender gets there first, so Xavier wins the ball back, plays Dylan quickly, who is unlucky not to score.